Having problems with your weak hand? Coach Jesse Minshew with Get Handles, where I show you how to play like the pros. Now there's 5 main things that keep you from having a weak hand that's strong, and some of them you're probably not thinking of. I'm gonna get to those main ones near the end of this video. But the first thing you wanna focus on is your ball control. A lot of players probably know this and probably work on it, but I wanna give you some quick tips that'll help you get more out of that practice, and I'm gonna do that for each of these tips. One of the very first things you wanna work on is an inside-out dribble. I'm a lefty, so I'm gonna show you how to do everything with the right so you guys know that I'm not cheating on you. But the inside-out dribble is a great one to practice because it really works on your ball control and coordination with that hand in one dribble motion. It works on some quickness, some coordination, and all of that. One thing you can do to go next level is go in and out, cross, bring it back, in and out, cross. Just work on repping that out. From there, start advancing that. Go in and out behind the back, in and out behind the back, okay? Then you can advance that, in and out between the legs, in and out between the legs, okay? And then you could go in and out between the legs from the back. Work through that whole sequence until you get really good at it, then go the whole thing through, just like this, okay? Do that whole sequence back and forth, just doing that in and out with that weak hand that you're gonna make strong. Next thing, you wanna start making that ball control to feel more natural, easy, and you can focus on other things happening on the court without having to think about it. That's where a tennis ball would come in handy. So one thing you could do for this is go in and out, throwing up the tennis ball, catching it off the bounce. Once that gets easy, you can work on catching it in the air. Then you can work on catching it in the air overhand, working on that in and out the whole time, focusing on that tennis ball. Then you can start taking that next level. Same thing like we just did. Go in and out, crossover, catch it on the bounce after that crossover, okay? One more time, in and out, catch it off the crossover. And of course you can work on all these other ones, going in and out between the legs, cross it back over, in and out behind the back, right, cross it back over, in and out between the legs from the back, cross it over. Work on that whole sequence to make those dribbles feel a little bit more natural. You can get that extra level of confidence. Next thing you need to work on is some moves that you can count on going to that weak hand side. I bet you probably spend a lot of times working on moves and combos going to your strong hand, but you probably don't spend a lot of time doing them going to your weak hand, and that's probably why you're not so confident and comfortable in doing them in game situations. You might be wondering, well, coach, what are some good moves to go to my weak hand? Well, what I would recommend you do is work on some counter moves, or take like a combo move you have that ends up going to the strong hand, and either add one more move to go at the end that would go back to the weak hand, or get rid of a move. So an example would be, one move I like to go to is the Tim Hardaway U-step two-step. Crossover between the legs, and then I would do it to my left-hand side. So 2 things you can do for that. You could take the move away from the end. So I just go between the legs and work on attacking the basket, getting there quick. Rep that out, get confident with it, get comfortable with it. Then another thing you could do, again, you could add a move to the end, right? So I could come between the legs, crossover, recross back to this side, okay? So now I got 2 moves that I can start working on, repping out, and they work in perfectly with the sequences of moves I already have down. So now defenders don't know what I'm gonna do, and I'm already comfortable with this move, so it's gonna be a lot easier to pick up a combo move or to take one move away and get comfortable with that than trying to learn something completely new. But it's not enough to just work on this on your own with the hoop. You definitely have to rep it out and get confident, but then after that, you have to start doing it in game situations. That's how you can start to realize, okay, this is the spacing I need to take on this last crossover. This is the angle I need to move. This is how I can move a little bit quicker by pushing off this foot more, right? You could start focusing on those details in games, start to make those adjustments you need, but more importantly, once you get a successful, shot off or layup from one of these moves, you'll gain a ton of confidence. So keep forcing yourself to do this, whether it's in pickup basketball, whatever the case may be, a scenario where you're not going to mess up in front of your coach too much, and get that practice in. So then when you learn how to do it and you gain that confidence, now it's something you can bring in those situations with the coach watching for practice or for games. 4th big thing, you've got to be able to finish going to your weak hand. So some things you could do is those moves that you just worked on that I just gave you some ideas to work on. Work on going into jump shots for them so you can feel confident in that, and also work on some layups all the way to the rim with full intensity. If you don't feel like you can finish at the rim, you're going to be that much less likely to take that move and go that direction in a game situation. Because if in the back of your mind, whether you know it consciously or subconsciously, you know that you can't finish at the rim, you're not ever gonna make that move to begin with, because you're gonna freak out about not being able to put the ball in the hole. Some things you can do is, number 1, those moves and combos, work on doing them full intensity to the hoop. A lot of players, they'll work on their layups in the layup line coming to the hoop, and they'll just kind of throw the ball up there. That's not game situational. You're not going to get better with that weak hand in games by taking layups like that. So first of all, work on those moves and come to the hoop with full intensity. So if I'm gonna go between the legs, I wanna try to get to the basket quick. I wanna try to get there high. I wanna try to finish with my hand as close to the rim as I can get it and go with some intensity to it. That's the first thing. Second thing, start working on some variations of the way you're able to do your layup. So when you come in here, maybe start finishing a little wider, finishing more reverse maybe, okay? Working on different types of finishes with floaters, things like that. That's how you can start to get that confidence. And then one other thing you could do is just come under the rim here and just go working on doing different finishes, okay? Back and forth on each side of the backboard using just that hand. Then the next thing you want to do to level this up is work on starting to finish with some ball spins. So spinning it like this to get it to go in, right? Spinning it this way from this side, okay? That'll start to get some more confidence, coordination in that hand. And the final thing that I can almost guarantee you're not thinking of, and it's something that you're probably not working on, that was giving me problems for a long time, was my feet. I was able to do all kinds of dribble moves. I was able to feel perfectly in control with them. Felt like I could finish around the rim, but I still had a hard time getting past my defender. And you know why? It's because my first step was pretty slow and I didn't have very good footwork going in to the ace hand, I like to call it, or the weak hand side. What can you do to work on that? Well, first of all, you have to get your coordination down with it, get a lot more comfortable with it, and doing those go-to moves that we talked about earlier, those combos and counters, and doing layups to them, that will help with it a lot. But on top of that, you have to work on some more specific training to develop your speed, coordination, and stride length with that leg. That's what I always found, is I was able to get my move off just fine, and I felt like I could go to this direction pretty well, but my defender would just always slide in front of me. And I started to figure out it was because I wasn't able to move with as quick of a step as I needed to and as long as a step as I needed to. So if you're having issues with your quickness and your first step speed and your athleticism with your feet, especially going to your weak hand side, click the button down below that you'll see in the description. That's going to show you the 3 main things that keep players from being quick on the court with their feet. Click that link, pop in your email, and I'll send that to you instantly for free. Also, make sure you click that subscribe button to catch the newest videos I have coming out every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. Central Time. They're going to help you improve that weak hand immensely, and I'm going to show you how to play just like the pros and beyond so you can reach your dreams. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more and make moves today.